Biggest stories catch it Monday through Friday here on FS1. James Harden's scoring streak, well, it's over. Last night he had 28 points, which ended his streak of 30-point games at 32 straight. It's still good enough for the second longest streak ever behind Wilt, but Harden struggled big time last night, missing all 10 of his three-point attempts. He still had a chance to shoot in the closing seconds, but he chose to run out the clock in the win over the Hawks. So, Shannon, are you surprised his streak lasted this long?
No. The guy averaged 27 shots a game. He's shooting about 13 threes a game. No, I'm not surprised at all. It's impressive for the simple fact, Skip, when the streak started, they were in 14th place. Now, mind you, there's only 15 teams in the Western Conference. Mm-hmm. So he was at the bottom, and he's dragged them all the way to the fifth slot, minus a lot of that without Chris Paul and without Capella.
Yeah.
So he needed to do this, and he caught a lot of criticism, but I don't believe had James Harden not gone on this historic streak, which is the second longest in NBA history behind Wilt, I think 65 games, they would not be in the position they're in. Anytime you do something, Skip, that's only been done one other time, only one other person, and we talked about Wilt earlier, that has to be very impressive. And he didn't average 30. He had 32 games in which he averaged 30, but he averaged 41 points over that streak. Yep. Now, that's what's impressive. But again, Skip, he's shooting the ball. I mean, when you think about how many times he actually puts the ball up, and again, he was 0 for 10 from last night. That's one thing. He ain't got no conscience. He ain't got no heart because he ain't met a shot he didn't like. And he has the greenest light ever. And another thing, they didn't really give him a whole bunch of free throws last night. And that, I think that.
14.
They gave him that many?
Yep. 10 of 14, but for him, you know.
Well, he missed, he normally 12 or 14.
True.
But you know the thing is.
I'm sorry, I didn't read this right. 16.
He shot 6.
Yeah, 14 to 16.
So that was $25,000 well spent.
Yeah, you're right.
Because he got fined $25,000 for criticizing.
He did.
And they come back his first game back, Skip, and guess what? Shoot 16 free throws. But it was impressive because of what it allowed. I'm going to say him doing it, not that it ended, but him doing it in order to get them back in playoff contention is because it was everything he needed to do minus his second and third best player.
Okay. So what would James Harden usually do under this circumstance? He's dribbling it up.
Okay.
Oh, he shot it.
He's got a 7-footer on him named Dwayne Dedmon, former San Antonio Spur. And Dwayne Dedmon's got no idea how to do this, but he's trying to just be all over him.
Right.
You don't think you could fake him off his feet? You don't think you could go up and under on Dwayne Dedmon and get to the free throw line to shoot 3 free throws?
And don't think, Skip. Don't think they don't know that because look at all the guys. They got 4 guys coming.
I know. And the game is over. It's an 8-point game. It's 119 to 111, and the Hawks are all over him saying, we're going to stop this. We not in our house, right?
If you shoot a 40-foot three-pointer, so be it.
And obviously he didn't want to do that because he was 0 for 10, so he had no feel from 3 whatsoever. But to me, James Harden was relieved this ended. He wanted it to end, and I believe his team was relieved it was over because they don't want to have to keep doing that every night.
Well, they can't because now Chris Paul is back, now Capella is back. They need how to play team ball. It can't be a one-man show.
I completely agree. I think he got worn out from this streak mentally, if not physically.
Right.
And I believe his team got worn out mentally, trying to make sure it worked, make sure he gets his shots. Now it's time to play basketball.
Right.
Now it's time to, after all the criticism he took from all the ex-players and Hall of Famers saying there's no way, starting with Kobe Bryant, there's no way you can win this way in the playoffs.
No.
Well, the truth is, there's little way you can win if you shoot 0 for 10 from 3, right?
There would have, had he not gone on this historic streak, he wouldn't have had to worry about the playoffs.
No.
Because he wouldn't have been in it to lose in the playoffs.
No, I agree with that. So I'm impressed.
Yes.
I mean, I'm extremely impressed. It was extraordinary what he just pulled off.
Right.
I'm not sure anybody else could do. I don't think LeBron could do that.
No, not like this. Because he's shooting step back threes. He's leading the NBA obviously in 3-pointers made. He's also leading in free throw attempts and free throws made. But when you look at it, Skip, they have to get back to sharing the basketball because you have to play a certain way with James Harden to continue the streak, minus Chris Paul and Capella. Now that they're back, you can't play that way and expect to win because they were struggling with James Harden and Chris Paul in the lineup because James was still playing that way.
I agree. And I want to say this one more time. I am so impressed with his free throw shooting because you shoot 16 and you make 14, and he goes up there and just flicks his wrist, and it seems effortless to him. And you know and I know how hard it is to keep making those and not lose focus and concentration or flow or just get cold from the free throw line. He makes 85, 90% every night. And I love that about him.
Hey, I don't know if you noticed, Skip, but your guy looking good. You look Oklahoma Sooner. Old Trey Young.
Starting to.
Old Trey Young.
Problem is he's like 5'11", 165 pounds.
And letting it go.
Yeah.
You 8 or 12.
Yeah.
He said him and Luka, everybody going to be happy.
Who you want?
I'm just saying what he, Skip.
I'll take Luka any day, any night.
But Skip, they gave up Luka and they're going to get the
I got that. The problem with Trey Young, he's so little, it's hard for him to defend. You have to hide him a little bit on defense.
You have to hide all the guys. You have to hide Steph Curry. You ain't let Steph Curry take nobody.
Steph Curry's 6'3",
but he ain't guarding nobody.
And Steph Curry will lead the league in steals.
He played passing lane.
Okay. Well,
this little guy, Allen Iverson, led the league in steals.
I got it. I'm not sure. We're not looking at Allen Iverson here, but he has impressed me lately. He started, well, especially when he makes 8 threes. What do he make? Like,
8 to 12.
8 to 12. Okay, if you can do that every night, but he can't do that.
Yeah, and he was shooting some of them from, you saw where he was shooting from Brownsville, Laredo.
Okay, guys, are the refs out?